Hello all, and welcome to The Curious Case. I am Tyler, and I will be leading you down halls of horror, mystery, and confusion. Stories that will lead you in disbelief, wanting more, and pushing you to be curious. Today's video will discuss infamous Swedish twin sisters, Ursula and Sabina Eriksson. The identical twins were born on November 3rd, 1967, in the western Swedish province of Värmland. Not much is known about their childhood, nor potential traumas that may have occurred during this time, though according to sources there are no reported histories of mental health disorders, criminal convictions, or any troubling past that the two may have endured, which makes this case truly bizarre. Ursula and Sabina remained out of the spotlight for most of their lives, that is until 2008 when they captured international attention. It all began in May, when the twins traveled to nearby European countries such as Ireland and England. Ursula was visiting from the United States in which she resided at the time. She visited Sabina in County Cork, Ireland, then disembarked by ferry to Liverpool. Shortly after entering the city, they paid a visit to the local police station, St. Anne Street Police Station, weirdly enough to report worries and concerns Sabina had over her children, who were left in County Cork with her partner. Nothing came of this, and they went about their trip and boarded a National Express coach bus that would take them to London. And it wasn't long until their behavior caught the attention of others, and it all began with this bus ride. The bus neared Kiel Services, which is located closely to Stoke and Newcastle-under-Lyme, at which point the twins decided to get off of the bus, even though this station wasn't a rest station. They got off because they began to feel really unwell. Their body language appeared to be erratic, and it caught the attention of the bus driver. The bus driver noticed their abnormal movements, fixation on their belongings, and their overall body language, which led to the police being called with the suspicion that they had illegal items on them. During this time, the bus driver denied re-entry for the twins until they got to the bottom of this. Police came and they were declared to be harmless. They weren't carrying any illegal items. The bus driver trusted his gut though on this one, and they were not welcomed back to the bus. This led to the twins deciding to travel down the M6 motorway by foot. The erratic and abnormal behavior of the two didn't stop at the service station and continued throughout their journey. Since the road wasn't built for civilian travel and they were acting strange, police yet again were notified of their presence. They attempted to cross the motorway but only caused disruption to traffic. By a complete chance, the police who arrived on the scene were also being filmed by the British documentary series Motorway Cops. This gave an up-close and personal look at the exchange between the twins and the responding police. The police attempted to calm the two and keep them away from traffic. They restrained them for the time being, but this quickly failed as Ursula ripped away from the police officer holding her coat, and she sprinted out into the road, being hit quickly by a tractor trailer. As the TV crew and police officers react to the bizarre act, Sabina is standing calmly and then sprints out to the road as well, soon to be struck by a car. Both vehicles were traveling around 50 miles per hour. Ursula was left immobile after having her legs crushed by the tractor trailer, and Sabina was left unconscious. Paramedics and other emergency crews rushed to their aid and attempted to help the incapacitated twins. Ursula, though, was violent and vocal during the event. She screamed, she spat, she hit.
Calm down. No, you're hurt. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I harmed you.
Mine's very aggressive, spitting at me. She is very badly injured. I don't know what's going on.
She stated, and I quote, "I recognize you. I know you're not real."
We're police, my love. We're here to help.
Oh, I recognize you. I know you're not real.
Her sister, Sabina, then awoke and shouted, "They're going to steal your organs." She quickly shot to her feet, even after being struck by a car, and screamed again for help from police, even though the police were already with her. She struck a police officer and sprinted off again, but this time to be on the other side of the motorway. She wasn't struck by another vehicle, but instead was restrained and carried out to a safe location to wait for an ambulance. Emergency crews suspected reasons such as excessive drug use, a suicide pact, or even a psychotic break between the two. The twins then were transported to the hospital. Sabina didn't appear to be concerned about Ursula's health and was quite unharmed in her state. Oddly enough, the hospital released Sabina within 5 hours of being admitted. Though still, she remained in police custody for the time being. Sabina told police, "We say in Sweden that an accident rarely comes alone. Usually at least one more follows, maybe two. This alone sparks concern. This bone-chilling statement couldn't cause the police to hold her any longer, and Sabina was released after a court hearing 3 days after the incident. She pled guilty to assault of a police officer and also trespassing, though she was not giving a psychiatric evaluation and was only sentenced to 1 day in custody. This is where the story gets even more odd, when Sabina decided to wander the streets of Stoke, all in an attempt to find the hospital her sister was currently admitted to. She walked through the streets with only a plastic bag of her possessions that the police officers gave her. As the night grew close, she stayed fairly distant from any human interaction. That is, until she crossed paths with 2 men walking a dog. Their names were Glenn Hollinshead and Peter Malloy. These friends interacted with Sabina, and she appeared friendly and even patted the dog. Malloy noticed some nervous behavior, but quickly shrugged it off, and carried on conversation as if it wasn't happening. She then asked if the 2 knew of any nearby lodging she could stay at for the night. Hollinshead offered for her to stay with him for the night at his place, so the 3 went back to his house and sat down for some drinks and continued conversation. Sabina even opened up about how she was trying to find the hospital in which her sister was at, though shortly after the nervous behavior grew, and she appeared to be paranoid. She would quickly look out the window as if someone was near or watching her, or would even offer the men cigarettes only to snatch them away from them and claim they might be poisoned. Apparently this didn't cause any red flag, and Sabina was still allowed to stay with him for the night. Nothing happened throughout the night. She stayed into the next day, and Hollinshead even attempted to call around in hopes he could find the location of her sister. With no answer yet, the 2 readied for dinner, and around 7:40 p.m. he left the residence to ask his neighbor for some tea bags. He entered his home again, only to come right back out, but this time covered in blood. Sabina stabbed Hollinshead. Neighbors called the police, and Sabina ran. She had a hammer in hand, and all were on alert, trying to find this woman. And a nearby man even tackled her in hopes he could restrain her, but she screamed and struck him with a roof tile she had in her back pocket. She evaded them once more and was being chased by emergency crews, which led to her leaping from a bridge 40 feet high and landed in the waters below. This resulted in a fractured skull and 2 broken ankles. Sabina was recovered from the water and transported to the hospital, and quickly after being discharged on September 11, 2008, she was charged for the murder of Hollinshead. Ursula was discharged at the same month and was sent back to the United States. During Sabina's trial, she never gave a reason as to why she stabbed the victim 5 times with a kitchen knife, only responding with no comment to every question police threw at her. The video footage taken by the TV crew on M6 motorway was used as well during the trial, and they decided she was insane at the time of the murder, only to be returning to her original state of sanity by the time of the trial. It was claimed by the defense counsel that Ursula's presence invoked some psychotic behavior due to folie à deux. Folie à deux is a state of shared psychosis that may lead to delusions, hallucinations, and also beliefs between 2 individuals. The defense counsel was convinced that Ursula's presence had some sort of weird interaction with Sabina's mental health, and that led to the murder of Hollinshead. But who can believe that? 2 years after the incident, in 2010, Sabina was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Thank you guys for listening to The Curious Case. My name is Tyler. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe, feel free to like, or catch me next week. Thank you.